Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So, in this chapter, we are in the final section, that is Lord Brahma's creation is being explained here. So, we come to text 47. देहेन वै भोगवता शयानो बहुचिन्तया सर्गेऽनुपचिते क्रोधात् उत्सर्ज तद्वपुः. Translation.
Once Brahma lay down with his body stretched at full length. He was very concerned that the work of creation had not proceeded apace, and in a sullen mood he gave up that body too. Hare Krishna.
So creation is not so easy, because Brahmaji, he wanted to create, and he wanted to facilitate different types of living entities, different types of bodies, but creation is not easy, right? Maintenance is even harder, but even creation is not easy. And Brahmaji, once he lay down, stretched at a full length, and in a sullen mood, he was thinking, and again, he created another body by giving up, that particular form. Again, we have seen this. Sridhar Swami explains this, that Brahmaji giving up the body means he creating that bodily form, and he personally giving up that mentality. But that mentality remains, right? Which will be acquired by some other living entities. This will come very beautifully in another section where we see Prithu Maharaj, and he is performing the 100th yagya, and Kratu, Shatakratu, this Indra becomes very, very afraid of Maharaj Prithu. And he comes and takes on different forms and steals the sacrificial horse. And there in the Bhagavatam it says, because Indra took those many forms, those many apasampradayas were given rise to, because of Indra's taking different forms. So one has to understand this from that perspective, that Indra, Lord Brahmaji here, he giving up this, the another body. Text 48. Yahin त्यामुतकेश अहये स्तंगयज्जिरे सर्पः प्रसर्पतः क्रूरा नागभोगोरुकन्धरा. Translation.
Oh dear Vidura, the hair that dropped from that body transformed into snakes. And even while the body crawled along with its hands and feet contracted, there sprang from it ferocious serpents and nagas with their hooves expanded. Hare Krishna.
So, in the dejection, Brahmaji gave up that body, and from that body, there was a formation of snakes, and even the body crawled along with its hands and feet contracted. There sprang from it the ferocious serpents, such as nagas, with the hoods expanded. So this is the creation of the further creation. So the creation is happening in this way. So the creation is not arbitrary, accidental creation. No, creation is happening by Brahmaji. He creating different bodily forms. Now here the bodies of the snakes and the nagas, who are famous for giving up their one part of body and who are generally krura, very envious, that is being mentioned here. Text 49. Sa atmanam manyamana kritakritya ivatmabhu tadmanun sasarjante manasaloka bhavanan.
One day, Brahma, the self-born, the first living creature, felt as if the object of his life had been accomplished. At that time, he evolved from his mind, the Manus, who promote the welfare activities of the universe.
Brahmaji, once he thought, with a very contented, peaceful mind, the Swayambhu Brahma, he thought, maybe I have created the sufficient forms. And from that thought process, evolved the form of the Manus. So Manus are very important. In fact, so many people, they hate Manusmriti, but they want to become Manav. And, but the very word Manav means one who descends from Manu. This is the irony of the people. Okay, right? They want to burn Manusmriti, want to hate Manusmriti, by very selectively quoting without the context some part from somewhere. But they want to become Manav. Manav means descendant of Manu. So the Manus are the very special position in the universal creation. And we know that, in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. And the 14 Manus, they come with there is a Manvantar avatar also. When specific avatar comes for that particular Manu period. And there is a set of the demigods, who are assigned to that Manu. And Manu is the ruler actually. So the form of the Manu appeared when Brahmaji was feeling accomplished and contented. Okay, so this is the mind of Brahma. Text 50. Tebhyah so sujat sviyam puram purushamatmavan tan drishtva ye pura srishta prashasham su prajapatim. Translation.
The self-possessed creator gave them his own human form. On seeing the Manus, those who had been created earlier, the demigods, the Gandharvas, and so on, applauded Brahma, the Lord of the universe.
So the Manu, when the Manu was created, the form of the Manu was created, everybody appreciated Brahmaji. Sometimes you have such personalities, some devotees. We thank such people that, thank you for making him into a devotee. What a personality he is. Like I very distinctly remember some devotees like that. We have our Revatipati Prabhu in Pune. So what a gem like a devotee. Murari Prabhu, Sri Guru Charan Prabhu, very amazing devotees. So we thanked Radhesham Prabhu one day that thank you for making such wonderful people into devotees. So when Manu's form was created, all other people, including Bhuta, Pishacha, Preta, Naga, Dhira Jana, Priya Karau. This is the quality of a great personality. He is dear even to Dhira and Adhira. So Manu, by his being, by his personality, by his, the Udara personality, the Manu he is, everybody thanked and applauded Lord Brahma for creating such a personality called as Manu. They prayed. Okay, so text 51. Aho ekat jagat srishta sukrutam batamikrutam pratisthita kriya yasmin sakamannam adamahe. Translation.
They
They
prayed
prayed,
the universe, we are glad what you have produced is well done, since ritualistic acts have now been established soundly in this human form, we shall all share the sacrificial oblations. Purpose. The importance of sacrifice is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, verse 10. The Lord confirms there that in the beginning of the creation, Brahma created the Manus along with the ritualistic sacrificial method and blessed them. Continue these sacrificial rites, and you will be gradually elevated to your proper position of self-realization and will also enjoy material happiness. All the living entities created by Brahma are conditioned souls and are inclined to lord it over material nature. The purpose of sacrificial rituals is to revive gradually the spiritual realization of the living entities. That is the beginning of life within this universe. These sacrificial rituals, however, are intended to please the Supreme Lord. Unless one pleases the Supreme Lord, or unless one is Krishna conscious, one cannot be happy either in material enjoyment or in spiritual realization.
They began to pray, O Swayambhu Brahma, O creator of the universe, we are glad that you have produced it well. So from the Manus are going to come Manava, and the Manavas are going to perform the ritualistic sacrifice which are going to fill, which was going to award in a way life to the universe. And therefore, everybody appreciated creation of Manu and activities of the descendant of the Manu, that is Manava. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the importance of sacrifice is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Yajñārthat karmano. So the karma has to become yajna. And for this purpose, Brahmaji created Manus, and Brahmaji also created later Manavas, who are going to follow, who are the descendant of the Manu. And what is the purpose of creation? The purpose of sacrifice is that both can remain parasparam bhavayanto, they can become happy. So, the proper position of self-realization and also enjoy material happiness. Sometimes some devotees have this very hackneyed idea of spiritual life. That spiritual life means I have to suffer, Prabhuji. No, not necessarily. Krishna doesn't want you to suffer. In fact, this very, very idea that Krishna is testing me and God is not a is an idea that is basically, on the bhava platform, in the sense one is just undergoing one's karma. Lord Krishna, if at all one is doing something, he is reducing one's karma. Karmani nirdahati kintucha bhakti bhajam, and giving the reduced token punishment of karma. So Krishna will never test a devotee unless one is extremely special personality like Pandavas or something like that. So Krishna will know. Krishna is always encouraging. Okay. And neither the conception of spiritual life is one has to suffer being a devotee. Our process is, Prabhupada used to say, our religion is kitchen religion. And our process is chanting, dancing, feasting. Right? ISKCON has two gods. One is eating god, Jagannath. Another is dancing god, Gaur Nitai. So, therefore, it is important that one has to enjoy material happiness as well. Sometimes people feel, to become advanced devotee, I have to suffer myself. And they will personally suffer. And looking at them, the family also will conduct in such a way, even if the family has some legitimate desire to take a break or something like that, looking at intensity of this person, the family may feel, this is extreme Maya. And, which is not a very good sign. So Bhagavad Gita always talks about this balance. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. By becoming a devotee, your dukkha should go away. Yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Right? So this is very important. Prabhupada writes here, one can elevate oneself to the proper position of self-realization and also enjoy the material happiness. Like Lord Narasimhadev is instructing Prahlad Maharaj, Bhogena punyam kushalena papam. So he's saying that, my dear Prahlad, exhaust your pious activities by enjoying material happiness, Bhogena, kushalena papam, and undo your papa activities, the previous janma, by kushalena papam, by very skillfully snoozing through, the realm of misery. So this is very important, that, devotee, not that, to prove I am a devotee, I have to suffer and make my relatives also suffer, especially the close one. This is not a good idea. Neither this is the right understanding of devotional service. Right? So all the living entities created by Brahma and the conditioned souls are inclined to lord it over material nature. And the Lord give the arrangement, okay, even by lording it over the material nature, become slowly grateful, slowly, and slowly evolve your consciousness by performing yajna. And the purpose of yajna is always intended to please the Supreme Lord, yajnarthat, right? Or sarvaloka maheshwaram bhoktaram yajna tapasam, he is the Supreme Lord. Unless one pleases the Supreme Lord, there can neither be happiness in the material life or in the spiritual realization, right? And converse to this is, by pleasing the Supreme Lord, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Material world doesn't remain Kuntita Jagat for a devotee. There is a beautiful prayer, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, Vidhi Mahendra Adishcha Kitayate. So this is so everybody glorified this creation of Brahma, Manu, and the Manushya. Text 52. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamadhina ऋषि नुऋषिकेशः ससर्जाभिमता प्रजा. Translation.
Having equipped himself with austere penance, adoration, mental concentration, and absorption in devotion, accompanied by dispassion, and having controlled his senses, Brahma, the self-born living creature, evolved great sages as his beloved sons. Hare Krishna. Purport. The ritualistic performances of sacrifice. Hare Krishna Prabhu. The
You are
ritualistic
audible, Prabhuji.
The ritualistic performances of sacrifice are meant for material economic development. In other words, they are meant to keep the body in good condition for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. But for actual attainment of spiritual knowledge, the other qualifications are needed. What is essential is vidya, or worship of the Supreme Lord. Sometimes the word yoga is used to refer to the gymnastic performances of different bodily postures which help mental concentration. Generally, the different bodily postures in the yoga system are accepted by less intelligent men to be the end of yoga, but actually, they are meant to concentrate the mind upon the super soul. After creating the persons for economic development, Brahma created sages who set the example for spiritual realization. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Now Brahmaji, having equipped himself with austere penance, tapasa, Vidyaya Yukto Yogena Susamahita, by adoration, mental concentration, and the absorption in devotion, accompanied by dispassion, having controlled his senses, then now Brahmaji created great sages as his beloved son. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Susamadhina means the ritualistic sacrifices, performance of sacrifices are meant for material benefits. And in other words, they are meant to keep the body in a good condition for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge. Yeah, so we want to lead a happy life, but happy life in itself is not end, right? Happy, healthy life, so that the happy, healthy body can be used to reach the destination. And what is the destination? The destination is the spiritual knowledge. So this is very important, that one is cleaning the car. Purpose of cleaning the car is not cleaning the car. Purpose of cleaning the car is in good condition so that one can travel to the destination by using the car. Similarly, being situated, stabilized in the body, being stabilized in the mind is not end in itself. The body has to be used, especially the human form of life, has to be used to travel on the spiritual path of self-realization. And this is Vidya, right? Otherwise, people generally, they are simply happy doing yogasana and pranayam and keeping the body fit. But what you will do with the fit body, right? The fit body should be used in the service of the Lord. This is very, very important. Otherwise, sometimes people feel that pranayam and yogasana, they are end in themselves. No, pranayam and yogasana, they are just the two processes of the Ashtanga yoga. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayam. Then there is dhyana, dharana, samadhi. A lot of things are there. So therefore, one has to keep the body fit by performing yogasana and pranayam and that the fit body has to be used in the service of the Supreme Lord. So Brahma created these sages who set the example for this spiritual realization. Text 53. तेभ्यश्चैकैकशस्वस्य देहस्यां शमदादज यत् यत् समाधियो योगर्धेर तपो विद्या विरक्तिमतः. Translation.
To
each one of these
these sons, the unborn creator of the universe, gave a part of his own body, which was characterized by deep meditation, mental concentration, supernatural power, austerity, adoration, and renunciation. Purport. The word Vikratimat in this verse means possessed of the qualification of renunciation. Spiritual realization cannot be attained by materialistic persons. For those who are addicted to sense enjoyment, spiritual realization is not possible. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that those who are too attached to seeking material possessions and material enjoyment cannot reach yoga samadhi, absorption in Krishna consciousness. Propaganda that one can enjoy this life materially and at the same time spiritually advance is simply bogus. The principles of renunciation are four: to avoid illicit sensual life, to avoid meat eating, to avoid intoxication, and fourth, to avoid gambling. These four principles are called tapasya or austerity. To absorb the mind in the Supreme, in Krishna consciousness, is the process of spiritual realization. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto, 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura.
To each of these one of these sons who are the great sages born, Swayambhu Brahma gave the part of his own body, again avoiding that particular consciousness, which was characterized by deep meditation, mental concentration, supernatural power, austerity, adoration, and viraktimata, that is renunciation. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says the viraktimata means possessed of the qualification of renunciation. So the spiritual realization cannot be attained by the materialistic person. So somebody who is deeply materially absorbed, it's very difficult for him to come on the spiritual path. And that's why Bhagavad Gita talks about this. That one who is very deeply into bhoga aishwarya prasaktanam taya aparita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhir samadhu na vidiyate. So there has to be some sense of virakti in one's life, and the virakti is followed by performing tapasya. And what is tapasya? Tapasya means these four principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. So these are the four pillars of dharma, right? Daya, Shanti, Shaucha, and Santosha. And based on these four pillars of dharma, when we avoid these activities, which are mentioned, four activities, then that becomes tapasya. And then one can absorb one's mind in the Supreme and follow the process of spiritual realization. So this is how we conclude third canto, 20th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So tomorrow we will continue with chapter 21. We have 5 minutes. If you have any question, comment, discussion, suggestion, any topic, most welcome. Hare Krishna. So chapter 21 will be conversation between Manu and Kardama. Now we have come to Manu, right? So Vidura is going to ask the question, and then Manu dynasty will be explained in great detail. In fact, a lot of Bhagavatam is about Manu. Manu's sons Priyavrata, Uttanapad, they will be explained. Then the son of Uttanapad, Dhruva Maharaj, austerities of Dhruva, Lord being pleased with Dhruva Maharaj, that also would be explained later. And then the daughters of Manu, they also will be explained, and especially Devahuti, Kardama. So that will come Devahuti and Kardama. So conversation between Manu and Kardama, then Kardama Muni and Devahuti's marriage. Just imagine that marriage is so important that it is one full chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the son of, then there is a birth of the great personality Kapila Muni, the renunciation of Kapila, Devahuti's lamentation. And this is how Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, will proceed further into the dynasty of the Manu. Right. So we will conclude here and continue tomorrow. So very grateful to everyone that we all are continuing here. So we are done with 3rd canto, 20th chapter. Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.